Hey guys, Sherlock here. So before we start, I just want to say a big thank you to all the support on the crafting video. We've hit over 3,000 views on that one, and it goes a lot towards the growth of our channel and the Twitch. So thank you everyone who's dropped a like, commented, and stuck around and watched that video. Alright, so in the background here, we just have some rapier tank on an M2. On the PTR, we are full Grit Ward, refreshing health, all things we're going to talk about later. Just something to keep you guys occupied while we go through this information. Don't be too judgmental about the gameplay. It is a little bit tricky playing on 300 ping, and we're just kind of messing around and testing some stuff. Alright, so now that wards are no longer an option, there's a lot of confusion around what perks to run. So in this video, we're going to go over what perks to run and what Bis gear is going to look like for the PvE scene in Season 3. Alright, so thanks to an anonymous Andy who doesn't like to be named, he has done all the calculations on the damage mitigation for all the different perks, along with health, the different wards, so we can calculate what the best perks are for you to be running in Season 3. As you can see on this left hand side, we have all of our damage mitigation numbers. We have our fortify, our armor, our gems, our base damage reduction, and then we've got the three sections where it's a balanced armor rating, a more physical leaning armor rating, and a more elemental leaning armor rating. Right, so on the left hand side there, under our damage mitigation, we have our EHP, which is our effective hit points, which is our health, when you take into account the damage mitigation numbers. Alright, if you look below that, we have our other damage mitigation. We have Sherking for Physical Aversion, Elemental Aversion, Enchanted Ward, Grit Ward, Conditioning, and Health. Alright, so down the bottom there, you'll see Health and Grit Ward is the best combination when it comes to damage mitigation. We're testing that on the PTR, which you can see in the background here on Rapier Tank. So between the Grit Ward, which is active when you're using Flurry, and the healing from leeching Flurry, I basically felt unkillable. Unfortunately, trying to test it on 300 ping, it was a little bit rough, but it was very fun. At this point in time, we're not going to recommend conditioning on the armor when it comes to PvE, just solely due to the fact that you need to take that damage first before you start getting protected from it. So if you're running low con, it's not really going to do much for you if you're getting protected from that slash damage after you've already been hit. When it comes to Grit Ward, I really do think in conjunction with health, this is going to be the best protection. The only limiting factor on that is that you need to have either 300 con, or you need to have abilities that have grit involved. I do really only see it being viable for kind of 300 con tanks or rapier builds. The next two best options are going to be Elemental Aversion and Enchanted Ward. I am going to recommend a split between these two for DPS, possibly 2 Elemental Aversion, 3 Enchanted Ward, or a healer might look at going 5 Elemental Aversion if they're more looking to play at range. I think the split between having the Elemental Aversion and the Enchanted Ward would hopefully allow a overall damage mitigation that'll help keep the DPS alive. I think that mix between health and making sure you've got health on your amulet as well, they should be pretty safe even when running low con. When it comes to Sherking 4 and Physical Aversion within PvE and dungeons, I don't really believe it's viable, as it can be quite hard to proc Sherking 4, and there's not actually that many ranged physical attacks, so I don't think it's going to be too much of an option. If there is a really good piece you have with Physical Aversion on it, then you can look at running it, but I don't think it's what you want to be working towards. Alright, so in summary, everyone is going to want health on every single one of their armor pieces. If you're a 300 con or a rapier, you're going to want to look at running Grit Ward. If you're a healer or DPS, you're going to want to look at that mix between Elemental Aversion and Enchanted Ward. So if you come over to the website, we have a build section that has tank, healer, and DPS. If you've got any queries on what perks you should be running, go in and check the section out. If we look at the healer section, you'll see we are recommending Elemental Aversion, weapon perks, health, and refreshing on basically all of your gear. As we learn more moving forward with the PTR and coming into live into Season 3, we will be keeping this updated, so do keep an eye on it. When it comes to running artifacts, the first one you guys are probably going to be running is the Attuned leather pants. So this is found from the main storyline quest and gives you 50 points in Magnify, an extra 10 points in all of your other perks, Elemental Aversion, Refreshing, and one more chosen perk. At the moment, Magnify is really hard to use on the PTR the way they've designed it, but AGS has come out and said they are going to make that a little bit more intuitive when choosing your attribute points. As at the moment, it doesn't really kick in until after you lock in those points. So if you're confused with that at the moment on the PTR, don't worry, they are looking at fixing that. Alright, Nimble leather coat is going to be the go-to for your light armor setups, especially with Rapier. The unfortunate thing with this though is you need 100 levels of the PvP track to unlock it. So for those people who just do dungeons, unfortunately if you want this piece, you're going to need to start cracking out some OPR and capturing some forts. So this chest piece gives you an extra 10% base refreshing. It has refreshing on it, health, and then you can choose your last perk. So you could choose Grit Ward, Elemental Aversion, Enchanted Ward, whichever one suits you regarding how we described earlier. Alright, so one other piece of armor that I feel like has slipped on a little bit is the light boots Tumbler. So this one here is 32 Magnify. It has Sherking Blessing, which is successfully dodging attack gives you 15% empower and 25% fortify for 5 seconds. You're also healed for 200 plus 2% of your max HP. It also has refreshing and physical aversion. As we discussed earlier, physical aversion isn't necessarily the best. It is still useful, but I think with the extra healing and the empower, this could be a nice artifact to run until you get the chest piece. I feel like these boots will be reasonably easy to get as it comes from level 20 in the season pass, which you automatically get if you buy the premium version anyway. Alright, so now I think we have a pretty good idea of what we want to be running. If you're 300 con or if you're running Rapier, you're going to want Grit Ward, otherwise you want Elemental Aversion or Enchanted Ward. All 3 roles are going to want full health on their gear, plus 4 refreshing, as refreshing only stacks 4 times. So with the remaining slots you can slot in weapon perks you need or things like freedom, vigor, etc. Alright guys, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Please subscribe and drop a comment below letting me know what you think about this video. Don't forget to come follow us on Twitch, that's where we kind of get silly and have a good time, and if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Otherwise, you can come and visit us on newworldbuilds.com, and if you want to support that website, there is a Patreon link in the top right hand corner. Alright, thanks guys, and see you next time.